Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I have a couple of definitions this morning of old. Old is when getting lucky means you find your car in the parking lot. And old is when a sexy babe catches your fancy and your pacemaker opens the garage door. Good morning. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Thank you very much, Kate Smith. God bless America. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch, and thank you very much for tuning in. Our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at, of course, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Right now, we say good morning to the lovely Miss Christmas.
Well, good morning, sir. And did Deanne get all your Christmas decorations up?
She did a beautiful job.
Did she?
Yeah, beautiful job. In the house and outside the house.
See, I don't do outside, I do inside, but Kennedy, my little helper, and I, we got all of the decorations pretty much put up last night.
Really?
For some reason, I'm missing a box of Christmas decorations somewhere. Where it went, I have no idea, but I know I'm missing a box.
Well, now, wait a minute. You live by yourself with Kennedy and you.
And my brother.
And your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're saying the box just walked out of the house?
It's probably shoved way back in the very back corner of the garage, piled under a whole bunch of other boxes.
With a transmission and a radiator on it.
Probably so. Probably so.
All right, kid. Hey, listen, have a great day. And, by the way, do we have a pledger?
We have Rotten on for the pledge and Mr. Michael Rogers on for the weather.
All right, thank you. Rotten, go ahead, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, to you and your lovely bride this morning, thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. Nice people right there. And right now, it's time for the weather. And the weather is brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. And the number to call, 678-6945. Look for their blue door. Oh, Cheney Flooring and Home Design, whatever you need to make your house a home. Kyle and Whitney Cheney have absolutely a wonderful business with carpet and flooring and home decor, home decorations, kitchen construction. Believe me, you're going to appreciate the fact of stopping in and visiting with these folks today. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Right now, let's look for our weatherman. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. The first of a lot of El Nino storms you're going to be getting. You're finishing this guy up here, and you're going to have a nice weekend. Can rain for today and tomorrow, and then you're going to come out of it on Friday, which is not bad. Now, you're going to rain on Saturday, but once you're done on Saturday, then you get a nice week all the way to Tuesday. And next week, temperature is still going to be in the low to mid-50s for the daytime high, and around the, freezing for the overnight low. So, everybody else gets snow. You get right. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's on the way weekend.
Thank you, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Absolutely the greatest folks in the world. Cheney Flooring and Home Design sponsoring Michael Rogers Weather this morning at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. You know what? We've got a ripping good sale at Burley Livestock today. Merv, come on in here.
All right, it gets the steer calves there here to get $31, $31 going out.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with sale time at 10 a.m. this morning. This is the sale that works for you, and if you want more information, call their office at 678-9411. And right now, let's take a gander at all the cattle that are coming in. Now, these aren't all the consignments, but these are just some of them. They're going to have a ripping good sale today. Don't miss it. Boyd War up at Grouse Creek bringing in a semi-load of cows and yearlings. K4 Ranch at Oakley, 120 head of mixed calves. Oh, that's going to be a good bunch. Cress Hughes, old friend of ours over in the Twin Falls Filer area, bringing in 25 head of 350-pound calves. Ken Horsch over at Aberdeen, 25 head of 800-pound steers. Andy Cofer over at Rupert. Hello, Andy. 25 head of steer calves weighing 700 to 800 pounds. Antelope Hills Dairy in Burley, 25 head of cows coming in. Golden Valley Beef. This is David and Cody Beck over at Burley, bringing in about 135 head of 500-pound calves, ripping good calves. Eric Casel over to Rogerson, old cowboy Eric, 75 head of 600-pound calves. And Oak Valley Dairy, 50 head of Holstein heifers and 40 head of Holstein cows, along with a great trailer run coming in there to Burley Livestock today at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time, 10 o'clock. Don't be late. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, it gets the steer calves there here to get $31, $31 going out, 32, 2 and a half, 3 and a half, 134, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, 135, 50, 135 and a half, selling $35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom.
Oh, thank you very much, boy. I tell you what, good morning. We've got a lot of things to cover this morning on Thursday, and I want to say thank you again. Next Thursday, put this on your calendar, next Thursday, the 11th of December, we are going to be at Valley White Home and Ranch. Yes, we are. Valley White Home and Ranch for a remote broadcast for their Christmas remote next week. And you don't want to miss it. Enter the Naughty or Nice drawing at Valley White, and all you have to do is bring in an unwrapped small gift, put it in the box by the Christmas tree, and your name will be entered for a $100 gift card drawing. And you can also donate cash, and your name will also be entered. You want to stop in today all the way through Christmas to Valley White Home and Ranch. They've got all your needs right over there. But don't forget, next Thursday from 8 to 11, we're going to be at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. And Sean and Mandy and the whole crew are going to be there at Valley White Home and Ranch. Now, as you know, next week is a special day on Thursday because right after we leave Valley White, we're going to be running over to our friends at Denny's Restaurant. Yes, we are. And it's our lunch bunch, our Christmas lunch bunch. So you put that on your calendar right now. And we're going to have lunch bunch at Denny's Restaurant in Burley, 611 Overland in Burley. And don't forget, Thomas and Terry and the whole crew are ready at Christmas time. Everything's all going to be decked out with Christmas decorations. And we're going to have some special guests and some special gifts for that day. So everybody planned to be there at Denny's Restaurant, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Always great. And you'll enjoy the food and the people at Denny's. Now, keep this in mind also. Next hour at about 9:12, we are going to have the first Denny's Grand Slam giveaway. You can build your own Grand Slam. You might win a certificate to go to either the Burley Denny's or the new Twin Falls Denny's on Pole Line. And I'm going to be asking a question next hour at 9:12. Don't miss it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. Love to hear from you. Oh, brother, I'm sure you've been following what's been going on in New York City. I have never in many, many, many years seen such an explosive situation ready to go as what's happening in New York with the verdict yesterday in regards to the New York City police and one policeman in particular. No indictment for him. when they went to arrest a very large black man who was selling illegal cigarettes in the city of New York. And he had, let's be very honest here, he had a previous rap sheet for quite a few other offenses. He wasn't a little white lily. Not at all. And I don't mean that in a racial tone either. But anyway, they go to arrest him, and he resisted arrest. He resisted arrest. It's all on tape. And one of the officers jumped up from behind on this large man and put a chokehold on him, or a headlock, if you will, and wrestled him to the ground, while other officers, and 3 of whom were also black, tried to get the cuffs on him and take him in for arrest. Unfortunately, the man suffered from obesity and asthma, and he had a heart condition, and by putting on that headlock, he died. And this thing could not have happened at a worse time right now, with the complete debacle of respect for police in the Ferguson case, and now another case in New York. And of all people, caller, I'm coming, don't go away. Of all people to throw the New York Police Department under the bus was Mayor Bill de Blasio. It was pathetic. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes.
You know, if you get somebody around the neck and you put a chokehold on them, they can't say, I can't breathe.
Well,
He said that 11 times. How can he do that?
Well, Keith, I'm not going to question whether he could say it or not, or whether he had the physical capabilities of saying it. I am going to say the man was obese, the man had asthma, the man had a heart problem, but I don't know what you do. The police are having their hands tied right now, unfortunately. If they touch somebody, if they go after somebody, everybody's yelling police brutality. I don't know what they're going to do, and especially after what de Blasio, the mayor of New York, did yesterday. I mean, he threw his police department out on the railroad tracks.
Yeah, you know, he could have said, I give up, put his hands up, you know, quit trying to resist.
I agree.
What would have happened to him?
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
They're selling illegal cigarettes on the street.
Yeah, you know, Keith, the respect for the police and the respect for a procedure of arrest is being minimized. I mean, now everybody's going to say, well, if it was caught on camera or wasn't caught on camera, it won't stand up in court. I mean, the police are absolutely, they're going to be working on the streets right now with one hand tied behind them.
Yeah, what if you know, you get stopped in a normal traffic situation, and a policeman comes up to your car and tells you to roll down the window, and you do that, and then he reaches in to get your driver's license, but you're handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy drags him into the car or something. You know, what right does the policeman have to overstep his bounds? That's what I'm getting at. But I think the police are right. They're very, very cautious in what they do, and very seldom do you ever see them when they have to subdue somebody like they did this guy.
Well, you know,
this guy was huge.
Yeah, he was huge. He was a big man, and like I said, he had a heart condition and everything. But let's just back up for a minute and look at this. I mean, if you are under arrest, and the police stated such, you are under arrest for doing an infraction of the law. In his case, he was selling illegal contraband, if you will, and they told him he was under arrest, and at that point, he started waving his arms. They tried to put the cuffs on him, and he shook their arms away from him, and an officer said, whoop, wait a minute, this guy's too big. He's going to throw all of us on the ground. He got a hold of him from behind, and they took him down. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if the police can't use force to subdue a person that's a criminal, are they just going to let him go?
Well, this man has already had some criminal offenses.
That's right.
And evidently, people have placated and said, well, you know, it's going to be a civil rights deal. We're going to just let the guy go. And so my thoughts on it, maybe he was pushing the envelope there. He was going to resist arrest, and so he could sue the police department. And there is going to be a civil case, and they said that they are going to sue the city for $75 million.
Yeah, right now, with the Attorney General Eric Holder looking at more federal involvement in both the cases in Ferguson and then also New York City, which I do not think that we as American citizens should stand for. I don't see why the federal government is cherry-picking who they're going to come in and investigate. And in both cases, it involves a black man. And there are many, many cases. Okay, let's talk about this then real quick, Keith. What about that case of that New Jersey college student that pulled up to an intersection sitting at a stop sign and a black Muslim went up and shot him in the head 6 times? Why aren't the feds involved in that?
Well, I couldn't tell you, because that's the most bizarre thing you can think of.
That's right. I've got to take a commercial. I got to take a commercial break, Keith. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much for your input this morning. Thank you. You know, I just think that it's so ridiculous to the point of no return when Eric Holder and Obama are going to start cherry-picking cases that they deem are necessary for federal involvement. And I don't believe either one of these should have the federal involvement of the Department of Justice and Eric Holder. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, I'll tell you what, the cold weather is here. Now, I know we're hitting a little lull here with the 50-degree temperatures and everything, but you know it's going to change. And your furnace downstairs is sitting there going, I wish they'd get me a new air filter. Well, by golly, you can get a whole package of quality air filters at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Why don't you stop in today and see Ramsey's, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5:30 Monday through Friday, and they've got all your heating and electrical needs at Ramsey Heating and Electric, the best, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Later on this morning, we're going to be talking to Nick over at Berry Equipment. He's going to tell us all about the big equipment they've got and how it will get the job done for you. Berry Equipment and Rental, they've got 2 locations, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and the new one right down the road from me at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And they've got all the Coyote tractors and the Bobcat loaders, and they got the Doosan loaders. Whoo, big, tough equipment to get the job done right. And right now, maybe you've got some extra money at the end of a fairly good year, and you're saying, by golly, I need some of that new equipment. Well, whether you want to lease or buy, it's right there at Berry Equipment and Rental, Twin Falls, Jerome, and Highway 30 in Burley. Really good folks. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, the problem that we have here with this story is the protesters hit the street last night. Fortunately, I think they had, 83, 84 arrests. Not severely violent protests. I mean, they had some fisticuffs and some things like that. But here you have the mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, saying that racism is running rampant in this country and has been for centuries. It doesn't take a college graduate to look at that statement and read between the lines and then question it and say, wait a minute, if racism is running rampant in this country, why then did we elect a black president? Why then did we have in office of the Attorney General a black Eric Holder? Why are all the blacks not recognized for what they have achieved if we're such a racist country? It makes no sense. And for Bill de Blasio to say that it's worse than ever and running rampant and basically condemning the police and saying that people can't go to bed at night because they're worried about whether their children are going to be approached and beaten or whatever with police in New York City? You don't do that. But he did. He did. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2, right behind Dr. Crane's office in Burley. I'll tell you what, the number to call, write this down, 678-1191. 678-1191, Nick Greenwell and his staff. I have gone over there many, many times, and I'm going to be going over there many, many more times for work on my leg, etc. They help you get back to feeling and being you. That's right. They know all about the different exercises and sports medicine, and they know all about hydrotherapy with their pool. They've got the only pool around in the Magic Valley, and oh, it is excellent. Please take my advice. Give them a call at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. All right, give me a call, 436-2244. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
To find out whatever happened with that Bosnian couple that were attacked. I haven't heard anything about it. It's kind of got buried.
You know, that story did get buried, and I got to be really honest with you. I think it's shameful how some of these other stories have been pushed off the front page, pushed off even page 5, and I've got to do some follow-up on that. That was the man that was attacked by teenagers with hammers and beaten to death. It's a disgusting story, and I don't have that information in front of me today. But you know, Tony, you bring up a really good point. There are so many things going on in our warped, sick, perverted society that it's hard to keep up on everything, isn't it?
Well, those people left one war zone to come into another war zone.
Yeah, they did. Unfortunately, you're right.
So I hope you can find out something about it. I just came from the barber shop, and even the barber hadn't known about it.
Well, let me ask you something now. I want to make sure I understand. You were born and raised, or did you live for a time back in New Jersey and New York area? What's the story there?
I was born back there.
All right. So you, of anybody, would understand the police and the crime and the racial problems, etc. What did you think when you heard the remarks from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, where basically he put all the blame on the entire police department?
Well, back then the police were in control. Now he's turning the control over to people like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and the rest of that bunch. And, in my days, the police were respected. We had better control of crime, actually, back then than we do right now.
I agree. Tony, I really appreciate your call, and you and Mary, I'm wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas, and call us again. I appreciate it. I got a break at the bottom of the hour coming up.
Okay, thank you, Zach.
All right, buddy, thank you so much. Bye. It is time for the Capital Press Ag Minute, and of course the Ag Minute is brought to you and sponsored by Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley. Wonderful, wonderful people helping out the community, and they're saying, hey, bring in a couple of cans of non-perishable food items, and you could get $10 more per ton for scrap iron and a 5-cent bonus on aluminum. So please, they're trying to help everybody. If you'll please help them. Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley. Right now it's time for the Capital Press Ag Minute.
The Capital Press Ag Minute is brought to you by OnlyAgs.com.
Farmers whose crops are exported may get an early Christmas present this year. Talks aimed at ending the dispute between the Longshoremen Union and West Coast port operators may soon end a work slowdown that has snarled container traffic. Dock workers at 29 ports from San Diego to Seattle have worked without a contract since July, and negotiations over a new one turned contentious this fall. This week, full negotiating teams are back at the bargaining table for the first time in nearly 2 weeks. Public pressure has been mounting to resolve the dispute, especially because the movement of cargo, including millions of dollars worth of potatoes and other agricultural products a day, has been slowed. With the Capital Press Ag Minute, This is Hannah Browse.
To receive instant, exclusive, unlimited access to the West Agricultural News Source, register your account today at capitalpress.com.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley, our sponsor of the Capital Press Ag Minute. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Real quick, while I'm waiting for your next phone call that I know is coming in, I want to remind you about Gary Shorsman and his books. Gary is one of the most devoted historians that I have ever talked to and read his books. He is very, very accomplished in his ability to tell you everything that happened here in southern Idaho. Fantastic books for the history buff and keepsakes, honestly, keepsakes for generations to come. All of his books are at the bookstore on the square in Rupert in the Minidoka County Museum, and you talk about fantastic Christmas presents. Please go in and check out these books. Gary Shorsman, noted historian, and believe me, these books are first class. Everybody that comes into my studio, I've got them on the end of the desk over here, and they're picking them up and they're thumbing through them and taking a look at them. You're going to love them, like I said. Keepsakes for generations. Gary Shorsman and his books, available at the bookstore on the square and Minidoka County Museum. All right, give us a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, wouldn't it be great that right now this morning, as citizens of the United States of America that are bound by the laws as taxpayers within the law, wouldn't it be nice if I could just sit here this morning and say, I call for the arrest and trial for tax evasion and other crimes and misdemeanors of Al Sharpton. The man is a tax cheat. He owes the IRS millions of dollars. The man is a Democrat. The man is an extreme liberal. The man is a confidant to Barack Hussein Obama. The man should not be walking on the streets. All of us should consider not paying a dime to the IRS or the government until people that are perpetrating lawlessness and breaking the law with the IRS and these multi-millions of dollars that he owes are brought to justice. He is a blatant criminal, and Obama, and I don't care if the Democrats like this or not, Obama is shielding him. Now, let's just put this in perspective, okay? Let's say that it was somebody that was in the Republican Party or a conservative that was of the same ilk as perhaps Al Sharpton, a conservative pastor. Oh my, I bet you quite a few come to mind. And they had bilked the IRS for about $4.5 million and had other things against their personality and crimes against society that had gone untouched. And Obama was the president. Do you think for 5 seconds that person would not be prosecuted? Eric Holder would be after him with a 12-gauge shotgun to get this person prosecuted and arrested and thrown behind bars or have restitution paid. But yet this man, this absolutely little bitty worm, Al Sharpton, is, I don't know how many hundreds of times he's been at the White House. I don't know how many times he's been a confidant on various things with Obama. He's still walking free and no intention of paying the millions of dollars that he owes. Could you get away with it? Nope. Could I get away with it? Absolutely not. And on a related subject, folks, did you happen to see the pages that the IRS sent to the investigating senators of the IRS scandal? They were all blacked out. No information whatsoever. 2,500 wasted pages of nothing but black ink covering all the words and verbiage. Nothing. They said that the IRS, will not be releasing the information on those sheets because there might be an implication to the White House and Obama. What? They're not going to release it because it might cast aspersions on the White House and Obama. What happened to this president sitting there in front of all of our television sets before he was elected saying, I will be the most transparent president and leader ever in the United States? A liar. He's a liar. There is more seclusion, there is more under-the-table graft and corruption than I think in any other administration. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, call me. I'll be right with you, caller. Stand by. Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street on the Square. Don't forget breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Monday through Friday, 6 to 6. Saturday and Sunday, 6 to 2. And what a bakery. Ooh, wedding cakes, cookie bars, homemade bread. Delicious cinnamon rolls. You're going to love it at Sophie's Chatterbox on the Square in Rupert. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, the blacks, when I lived in California, well, when I was in service one time, I went down into a black area with a friend of mine, and walking down the street, and these guys across the street in their 20s, early 30s, yelled and asked what I was doing in that neighborhood. And we had to outrun them to get out of there. This was in Wichita Falls, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I lived in California, the blacks would move into a white area. And, you know, the white people, they were concerned about their property value and that, because if a bunch of them come in, the property value drops. That's the only thing that bothered the whites about a black moving into the neighborhood. It wasn't so much that, you know, he was black. It was the property value.
I'm going to interrupt you right there, Dwayne, because I want to be sure and be fair about this. I have been, as much or more than most, all over the United States and the world, that matter. And I have many, 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 many people, and I hate to say this way because it sounds like I'm trying to put myself above others, but I have many, many blacks, or if you will, Negroes, or if you want to really use a term that I don't like to use, African Americans, as friends, dear friends. And I absolutely will not lump everybody together and say all of them are the same, all of them have the same personality, all of them have the same attitudes, because they don't. They're just like whites. There's a diversification and a difference of personalities in all of us. But I am sick and tired of these situations going on in Ferguson, Missouri, and now in New York, to where race is being played by the president and the attorney general, and at any time, more than before, they should be trying to calm it, not throw fuel on the fire.
Well, my point is that I was there with another black person, which was a friend of mine. I had no problem with blacks in the service. I had a problem with blacks just like I did with some of the white guys. And I got in a fight with one, and the character tried to get a race riot started, but the friends that I had stopped it. But that's beside the point. They have a society within themselves, and what's happened to the blacks today is the up and respected blacks are no longer really controlling the society of the black movement.
Yeah, but wait a minute, though, Dwayne. In fairness, again, I think your verbiage has to say some, not all, because I listened to what Charles Barkley said last week in condemnation against what the happenings were in Ferguson, and he said without cops, our neighborhoods would be the Wild Wild West, and you can't put everybody lumped underneath the same canopy.
That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying, the society that they have now, the blacks that are crooks, they're just gangsters and what have you, they are the ones that are influencing the blacks in the whole. But the guys like Ben Carson, they do not like them, and the majority is going the opposite direction of Ben Carson, and that's what's hurting the black movement. It's a lot of politics and a lot of guys like Jesse, or like Jackson and what's his
Sharpton.
Anyhow, they are the influence on the black society today.
I agree.
That's the problem. Now, in the reverse, we have politics so involved with this race issue that we're not even paying attention to what's going on around the world, and what, like this Benghazi. They have now Rogers is the chairman of that committee that's investigating him, and he is doing a raunchy job. Even Democrats are criticizing him, and they're forgetting all about that now. It's no big deal.
Well, I gotta interrupt you right there. I gotta interrupt you, Dwayne, because I gotta get a commercial in. I got a stack of calls, but I agree with you that there's been a lot of smoke screens. Look at what happened with James Rosen with Fox News, how they tore him apart as being a reporter, and the White House didn't like what he was doing, so they went after his personality, they went after his family, they went after everything. Look at what happened with the IRS scandal. Look at what happened with, of course, Benghazi. Look at all the scandals, all the smoke screens. This administration absolutely is like Rome burning, and Nero is sitting there playing his fiddle. It's pathetic.
Well, that's what's happening right now. They're covering up with this issue of race. They're using that to cover up what's going on behind the scenes. I
agree.
Now, if I was the election, the only guy that I see that I can trust, and this includes, I'm sorry to say, every leading Republican that I can think of, I would vote for Ben Carson over all of them.
I agree with you. I got to run. Thank you very much. I've said that for a long time. I'm very supportive of his ideals and his goals for this country. Appreciate it, Dwayne. Thank you very, very much. Caller that's in line, stand by. I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody, holy smokes, go to Quality's Electronics and get the Samsung Quality all this week. And I'm telling you, you're going to share in a lot of savings. They've got the Samsung soundbars from just $89.99. They've got Blu-ray players, just $49, and you'll save $300 on the top-selling 65-inch smart TV, now only $9.99. What do you need is more incentive. Save money. I know these people. I've known them for 40 years. They are the best. Quality's Electronics, 1730 Kimberly Road. You don't want to miss out on the savings. You don't want to miss out on treating your family to something really special this Christmas, so stop into Quality's Electronics, 1730 Kimberly Road. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Benghazi's never going to be resolved. The IRS issue is never going to be resolved. Fast and Furious is never going to be resolved. And all the others that I'm forgetting are not going to be resolved because the situation is such that the Republicans don't have the will to fight it because they're already backing down on immigration.
I know it.
And last night as I was getting ready to go to bed, the last image I saw was this mass of people in New York City raising hell over what is going on there. And I said, and Bill de Blasio, the communist, from the mayor of New York City, a communist, but what's so amazing is they elected him. And you say, well, what's wrong with you people? Well, this is what happens when you swim in the soup long enough. You eventually become soup. And so, but I had this vision of Valerie Jarrett, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, Holder, and whoever else there is. And they're sitting there, and they've got this wicked grin on their face. Look, he says, look what we're doing. It's working.
Yeah,
it's working exactly the way we want it.
How do you get any sleep at night if you have visions of Mama Obama and Valerie Jarrett? Those are nightmares. That's not sleep.
Well, I recently bought a new bed.
Okay. Hey, man, I got to get the weather in here. I don't want to get into your personal structure of how you sleep at night, but I do appreciate it. Randy, God bless. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Okay. Oh, my, we got to get the weather in here. Mad River Laser with Nicole and the rest of the crew at 502 East Street in Rupert. Oh, custom-made wooden Christmas ornaments for your tree and great gifts for other folks. Wow, she does a beautiful job. And also all the T-shirts and the caps and the pins and the ornaments and the, you name it. She is just absolutely running one of the greatest businesses, and she has so much talent. Nicole over at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert, brings you Michael Rogers weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers is up at the ranch. Okay, it's real simple. You're in the tail end of this weather system that's giving everybody else snow, and you got the rain. You got rain for today and tonight, and you're going to taper off late tonight and have a nice day for tomorrow. Then Saturday, you're going to have a slight chance of rain. From Saturday night all the way through Tuesday next week, sun and clouds, or partly cloudy. A lot more sun than clouds. Temperatures are consistently all the way through. Going to stay in the 50s for the daytime highs and get down in the 30s for the overnight low. There you go. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that very much. Brought to you by Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Really good folks. Hey, Merry Christmas wishes right now from Burley Glass, 1029 Overland and Burley with Gentle Ben. And don't forget, replace those old drafty windows with Western windows. And be nice and cozy all winter long. Burley Glass in Burley, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. As does Sandy's Sewing Center at 1234 Oakley Avenue in Burley. This lady knows all about sewing. She is Magic Valley Sewing Authority, and she's got a gigantic selection of fabric, and she can fix your sewing machines too at Sandy's Sewing Center on Oakley in Burley. Merry Christmas. And Easy Money Pawn and Auto, 200 Overland in Burley. Christmas toy drive going on. Bring in an unwrapped toy and enter your name to win one of 3 packages, the Sportsman Package, Entertainment Package, or Automobile Package. Holy smokes, these people are very community-oriented at Easy Money Pawn and Auto in Burley, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call if you would, please. Let's see, what else have I got in the news? Oh, by the way, did you see the video of Hillary Clinton speaking, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was at George Washington University. Yeah, she's up at the podium, and somebody took a cell phone camera and panned around the outer perimeter of the arena, if you will, as to where she was speaking. Nobody's there. Nobody's hardly there. There were some people that were seated down in what we call the well, you know, the lower seats right up in front. And other than that, there was nobody there. And a lot of people did not want that video to be released that are handlers of Hillary Clinton and for the Democratic Party because she might be losing a lot of spark. I hope so. Does it not repel you like it does me that many news people on various networks and people that are political pundits, it's almost like a slam dunk. They're saying, well, when Hillary wins the presidency, or Hillary will do this when she's president. I'm not assuming that she's going to be president. I get down on my knees and pray that she won't be president. We cannot absorb the problems and the hardship that woman and her ideology would put on this country and you and me after 8 pathetic years with Barack Obama. If this country elects her, Hillary Clinton, as President of the United States, maybe we should look at investing some property down south of Madrid, Spain. I am telling you, that woman would be absolutely more outrageous, more secretive, and more dangerous, I think, than Barack Hussein Obama. That's my own personal opinion. I don't like her. I certainly don't like the influence of her husband. I just think the Clinton machine is extremely dangerous. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, our friends over at Redder's Showcase. Hello, Guy. How you doing? 2611 Overland in Burley. My goodness, on Friday, tomorrow, and Saturday, December 5th and 6th, they're having what they call Super Friday and Saturday, and you might win a free vacation voucher with the purchase of over $699, and they've got many locations to choose from. Goodbye, you're on vacation. And you might even sweeten the deal, pull a candy cane off the tree, and get an additional discount of maybe $20 up to $100 with the purchase of over $399. Holy cow! Great markdowns on Amana and Whirlpool and Maytag. Where? Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Jeff.
Yes.
Hey, can I get off the subject for a minute if you don't mind? Is that a problem?
Well, real quick.
You're talking about, I do believe it was yesterday or the day before, about 192 miles of road being closed up in the hills in Cassia County alone. I remember a while back about Jarbridge or people banded together with their shovels and went up and fixed things themselves other than let the government get involved and screw it all up.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole deal on that. It's been quite a while ago. Anyway, my point is why can't we do that again?
Well, it's just going to take a lot
stand up and say no.
I agree. It's going to take a lot of people to stand up and be counted on any and all subjects that the government's trying to impose their will on us. I didn't personally say about the mileage. It was something that was said on my program when I had a segment with Rita Ramsey about 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to pursue it further and find out exactly what's going on in the next couple of days while I'm off the air, and I'm going to find out exactly what they're trying to do, how much they're trying to close, and why. And I promise you, I'll not only have segments on it, but I'll have damning information that I will go after them for.
Well, you know, the sportsmen in this area and out of this area that use our hunting our area, recreational people like you and your lovely wife that like to take their four-wheelers up, or me and my wife like to ride their horses around.
Yep.
Enough of us can get together. They have no damn business doing that. Not at all.
We'll find out more before we give any other information out about it, and I promise you, Riley, I'll do the best I can to get it on the air. Thank you for your call this morning. Thank you.
You have a good day.
All right, sir. Thanks much. As far as closing more of the trails and roads up in the South Hills, in the Cassia district, if you will, oh, man. I'm going to try to find out all I can. They make such an absolute asinine mess up there with their berms that erode and cause all kinds of problems and desecrate the area. I can't understand it. Anyway, don't forget, for all your winter driving, don't forget to stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best in all your traction tires. You want to start the car, take off down the highway, and not worry about slipping and sliding all over the place. They've got all the traction tires. They've got all the tires pinned for studs. They've got all your tire chains. Got it all. Including the very best in brake service. Including the very best in front end alignments and shocks and struts. And including the very best in batteries. Yeah, when you turn the key, you want to hear something. You just don't want to hear a click. Well, by golly, I'll tell you what, they've got the best. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. What'd we do, Gina? Run out of calls?
Yes.
Have you started your Christmas shopping?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that you are the only one that we have bought a gift for?
You're kidding.
No.
I feel honored.
Well, you should, because we seem to have remembered you first and forgot about everybody else until Christmas Eve.
Don't tell the grandkids that. We will not tell the grandkids.
Oh, I'll tell you something. It's so hard for me to get dedicated enough to go Christmas shopping.
I know, me too. I'm usually a last-minute shopper. I've gotten just a few things done, but mostly everybody's getting homemade gifts from me this year. So next week when I'm on vacation, that's what I'm going to be doing is getting everything boxed up and ready to go and shipped out or under the tree for other people.
You know, the other day, Deanna and I were in town. I says, well, now, do you want to stop and do some Christmas shopping? Do you want to go and pick some stuff up? And she looked at me, and she had a little bit of fire in her eye, and it was a very emphatic, no, we're going home. And so we did.
You know what? Always listen to the wife.
Yeah, I did. Hey, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again.
Yes, sir.
Did you know in Oklahoma City, gas is $1.99?
Whoa,
That's
really?
$1 less than what we are paying here.
Oh, my goodness. $1.99 in Oklahoma City. My goodness. For 33 years, I used to be back in Oklahoma City at this time doing the World Quarter Horse Finals, and I've got a lot of friends back in Oklahoma City. I know almost everything about the city. I love the city. I love Oklahoma City. I think it's a great town, and boy, $1.99, there is going to be better Christmases for those folks shopping back there.
Yeah, you know, the sad thing about it is this is probably maybe one convenience store chain or something like that. We don't know.
Yeah.
All we know is that's what comes over the news.
Mm-hmm.
But what bothers me, that's $1 a gallon. You can buy a lot of presents on $1 a gallon.
Yeah, especially when you...
$30 less to fill up your pickup.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 34 to be exact. And now, to be honest with you, you take 34 and then double that to 68, because I usually right around here fill up twice a week. So that's a 68 rounded off at $70 a week times 4, $280 a month saving that could be cash in somebody else's pocket, a merchant's pocket for the gifts I buy. You're right. I got to run to the news right now, Keith, but God bless you for your call. We'll be back in 6. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. Oh, boy. I honestly thought, that beginning of that song sounds just like, and if Gina would compare it sometime, she knows I'm telling the truth. It's
got ran over by
yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Same chords and everything. Yes, sir.
And so when you said, oh my gosh, you thought I was going to kick off the show with Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer, which is a great idea. Thanks for the idea.
Look out, Granny, here she comes. Oh, my. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb at the Ranch, and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Want to remind everybody, too, about another dear friend that has helped us so much on our program, and, of course, with the Zeb's Lunch Bunch over, of course, every month at Denny's Restaurant. And that's, of course, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with our dear friend Joel Heward, the manager. He and his family and staff are always ready to serve you with very flexible hours. And when there's the passing of a loved one, please remember the number to give them a call, 436-5636. They always serve everyone with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with Joel Heward, serving you. Right now, also, before we go to our guest at the Chamber of Commerce, I want to remind everybody about Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Oh, wow, what a store. I mean, Kyle and Whitney Cheney have put it all together. Whatever you need to make your house a home. Carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor, all the Christmas decorations. Absolutely phenomenal. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Right now, let's go over the river and through the woods to Minnecash Chamber of Commerce, and here is the lovely, vivacious Kay Cameron.
Good morning and Merry Christmas.
How are you?
I'm good. Isn't it a beautiful day?
Yeah, fantastic.
I just love this time of year. We've got the Christmas lights on and the holiday spirit, and it's just, I love the holiday season.
No, I do too. Well, now with the holiday season, I'll bet you're pretty busy over at the Chamber, aren't you not?
We're busy, yes. We've got all kinds of things going on. We had some people in here already this morning doing some Christmas shopping, buying some holiday items, some chocolates, and just fun. I love holiday season. It's wonderful.
Well, now, Kay, as you look towards the end of the year, and of course we have to project a little bit as to what's going to be happening next year, 2015, what are some of the big things that you want to talk about that are on the calendar?
Well, of course, right now the annual Festival of Trees kicked off last night, so that's taking place through the end of the week. Lots of entertainment from school kids and different things, dance groups and singing groups, and so that's fun. Get by and check that out. And during the holiday season, there's really a lot of different holiday type of activities with, like the Nutcracker and the Christmas concert and different things. But also be aware that next Wednesday there's going to be an avalanche awareness class at Idaho Water Sports, because with the snow that comes, there's also potential dangers, and so be aware of that. Pomerelle has all kinds of activities. I know my kids are so excited to break out the skis and hit the slopes, and we look forward to spending some time up on the mountain this winter. All of us do. That's always a great getaway, and we just really enjoy the winter season and certainly the holiday season. One thing I want to share with all your listeners, a program that we have here at the Chamber is called Chamber Cash. It's a gift certificate program that over 50 of our local businesses here in the Mini-Cassia accept the Chamber Cash. And so if you're just not quite sure of the right gift to get somebody, come and buy them Chamber Cash and let them choose where they spend it. Like I said, there's over 50 locations that accept it. Gives them the choice to do that, and it's a program that was designed to keep money here in our local community, and that is something that we really want to encourage everybody to do, is support our local businesses, because they're the local businesses really do support all of our local programs, our nonprofits, our schools, and everything. So be sure and think of our local businesses this holiday season.
Absolutely. Now, if people have questions about the Chamber of Commerce, if people have questions about your wonderful gift shop, go ahead and tell us how we can get a hold of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce.
Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us online at minicashiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
All right, Kay. God bless. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Merry Christmas. Hey, when are you having your holiday open house at your house?
On the 23rd, and you had better be here.
I will put that on my calendar.
All right. Thanks. God bless. Thank you much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Calls are welcome, 436. I have got so much noise on the line, Gina. There, it kind of cleared up just a little bit. I don't know what happened. But anyhow, calls...
It was the line from Kay, because I have to bump her up because she's so low that it's inherent feedback. There's really nothing I can do.
No, I understand now.
People have a soft voice.
There you go. And one thing I don't have is a soft voice.
Me neither.
I know. And that's good. That's good. I like that. Okay, very assertive. Good morning, everybody. Give us a jingle, 436-2244. And it is time, Gina. It is time for the Denny's restaurant. Build your own Grand Slam breakfast giveaway. Can we have a couple of hallelujahs on that? She's good. She's good. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you a question. And then if you have the correct answer, we will take down your name. We will let Denny's know. You go in and show your ID, and you get a chance to build your own Grand Slam breakfast. You can pick any 4 items and make it your own, whether it's bacon strips, buttermilk biscuits, buttermilk pancakes, eggs, English muffin, hash browns, sausage links, toast. The list goes on and on and on at Denny's restaurant. And the neat thing thing is, you can use that certificate either in Burley at 611 Overland or on Pole Line Road, their new one. Holy cow. Here's the question. And you got to call right away and get the answer. We're going to take your name down. And the question is so easy this morning. I thought we'd start off with an easy one. The name of Scrooge's deceased business partner in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol was who? The name of Scrooge's deceased business partner in A Christmas Carol was who? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And you might be the lucky winner of a Denny's Build Your Own Grand Slam breakfast. Hurry! Call now. That's the easiest question a guy could ask. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Jacob Marley.
Who is this?
Zach Papp.
Zach, and your last name again, spell it for me.
P-A-P-P.
Oh, Pap, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. Well, do you like breakfast?
Well, doesn't every fat kid like breakfast?
I do, too. Hey, listen, Zach, I'm going to put your name down, and there's a hallelujah for you, and you are the winner. It was Jacob Marley, and you are the winner of the first Denny's Restaurant Build Your Own Grand Slam, and if you like to eat their Denny's like I do, they've got wonderful breakfast, and you can build your own Grand Slam. Go on in, get your certificate, we'll call your name over there, and you can enjoy eating.
Thanks a bunch.
All right, sir. Take care. God bless you. It is Jacob Marley, the deceased business manager. And we're going to give away another Grand Slam at Denny's Restaurant next Thursday for our Christmas holidays while you're out shopping and around the area. So be sure and be listening. And our thanks to Denny's Restaurant. They are so fantastic in Burley at 611 Overland and on Pole Line Road at Twin Falls. Really, really nice people. Hey, by the way, Merry Christmas wishes from AMI. I dropped my paper for a minute. AMI 719 Overland and Burley. Look for the big 28-foot wrench over their door and go nuts over their bolts. And don't forget, they're the meat and potatoes of the industry. Alan and Corey and Eric and Rob and the rest of the crew wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas from AMI. And Pro Paint with Barbara and the rest of the crew at 1116 Overland and Burley. The best paint, best stains, best advice, and they've got practical and appreciated gift certificates there. What a great way to fix up your house for the holidays. Merry Christmas from Pro Paint. And last but not least, Joe Taylor. My buddy Joe Taylor. I'll tell you, nobody better than Joe. And he's with Carey and Adams Realtors, buy or sell real estate. One call does it all. Joe Taylor. And he's wishing you peace on earth with a Merry Christmas at 1826 Overland in Burley, 678-9400. Excuse me. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Gina, this is my absolute favorite time of the year. I really love Christmas, and I'm really getting into the swing of things. And like with that gift certificate to Denny's Restaurant, the businesses are helping, and they're just kind of a fun, friendly feeling right now, you know?
I completely agree, and I love this time of the year because truly it's all about the giving. It's not about the receiving. So it's all about filling the heart with love and thankfulness.
And that's why it's so nice that Kim Lee is giving everybody a couple of $1,000 in an envelope at Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
You just broke the bubble there, kid.
Hey, but we do get a Christmas party this year. I'm excited about that.
Uh-oh. Where are you going?
They are taking us to the dry dock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy.
I shall, and I even have my nice little holiday dress that I'm going to wear.
Oh, really? What is it?
It's a dress with black tights and knee-high black platform boots.
Holy smokes.
With a black fur shawl that goes with it.
Really?
Uh-huh. Faux fur, by the way. Faux fur for those animal-friendly people.
Oh, I don't care on this program. We're not politically correct. Just go out and tell somebody you killed something.
I killed a rabbit.
And a girl ran over it, did you?
Kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit.
I love it. Anyway, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While we have just a minute, I want to remind you, too, that a lot of people are starting off their Christmas shopping early. What is today? December 4th? And we're 21 days away from Christmas. Well, you'd better stop into Whipple's Book Plaza with Colonel Dale. I don't know of a nicer man anywhere, anytime. He really cares about people. Colonel Dale at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. And the Book Plaza has everything. They've got 3 floors. 3 floors of books, and they've got all kinds of jewelry and decorating items, and you're going to find exactly what you're looking for right there at the Book Plaza. And Colonel Dale and his crew have created a new children's book department and have expanded the music department, too. 222 West 11th Street in Burley. Remember, Whipple's Book Plaza, you stop in, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Really nice folks. Let me see what else have I got here that I've got to get on the air real quick. I'm trying to find it. I had a couple of public service announcements. Let's see what this one is right here. I had it all centered out this morning. The Rupert United Methodist Church will be hosting the American Falls Community Choir on Monday, December 15th at 7:30 p.m. in the sanctuary of the church at 605 H Street. And that is from Marion Wickham, head of publicity for the Rupert United Methodist Church, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I know somebody else that wants to wish you a Merry Christmas, and that's Let's Ride. Nick and the whole crew over there. Holy buckets, they've got all the Christmas gifts over there for you. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They've got all the clothing and the accessories for motorcycles and ATVs and snow machines, and you just go on in and look around. You step into that showroom and you're going to go, holy cow, how did they get all this in here? Well, it took a lot of time and effort, but by golly, they know that is where the fun is sold. You stop over to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, and say hello to these folks. And by golly, you can check out the brand new 2015 Yamaha snowmobiles at Let's Ride. You stop over and see them today. All right, you know what? We're a few minutes before we get Officer Mort and Minidoka Animal Control on the air this morning. And I just want to see, is he ready to go, by the way, Gina?
Yeah.
He's sitting over there?
Oh, yeah, he's usually always here early.
Oh, he's already drinking some of the boss's coffee.
Which is my coffee.
Which is your... All right. Ladies and gentlemen, where did all these dogs come from anyway? Oh, my. Minidoka Animal Control. Here he is. Great dog catcher and dog lover. And besides that, he is also a fantastic singer, too. And he's going to be our entertainment over at Valleywide next Thursday. And that's Officer Mort. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I am fantastic. What'd you get us for Christmas?
Box of coal.
You're such a sweet individual.
Actually, he told me he got you a brand new puppy.
That's all I need. What's going on in the world of canines?
Well, today we want to feature Sasha. She is approximately a 1-year-old black lab. She is very friendly, lots and lots of energy, loves attention. Does need work on a leash, and she's not real good on a leash at the moment, but we've been working with her.
So you're saying she's not real good on a leash, and when you say that, you're recommending that a guy on crutches like me does not hold on to the end of the leash?
Exactly, because she will probably drag you everywhere.
I see, okay.
But, yeah, she's a sweetheart of a girl, a little girl and stuff, and that makes somebody a wonderful, wonderful pet. Like I say, she just loves and loves attention and is filled with lots of energy.
What is it about Labradors, Ken? Is there a golden and a black, right?
Actually, you got your chocolate, you've got your golden, you've got your black, and I believe there's I've actually seen a white Annette, white lab. They're kind of rare. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but there's actually several different breeds of labs.
What is it about their personality that they seem to be, in almost 99.99 cases, some of the most loving dogs on the face of the earth?
I think it's just part of their natural instincts. I mean, they're wonderful hunting dogs, plus great companions.
Yeah. All right. Well, her name is Sasha.
Sasha.
Okay. And you say you think she's about a year old.
Yeah, we're figuring she's approximately a year old, looking at her teeth.
Okay.
And she got very clean teeth, no wear on them yet, and they're still really super sharp.
Yeah.
She does have all of her teeth. I mean, she's gotten on a little bit on the bigger side and stuff, and that. So we figure she's probably about a year old.
Okay, now what do people do that are interested in Sasha? They just call you, they arrange for a time to come over and try to get a personality with them, or what do they do?
They give us a call at 438-2200 or contact me on my cell phone at 670-7268. Make arrangements on that to come and see her, because I know there's times and stuff people are unable to make it in during our office hours, which are from Monday through Friday 9 to 1, and on Saturday from 9 to 11. Mm-hmm. But if they get a hold of me on that, even if it's after work and I'm not out with the family doing something, I can meet them on that, introduce them to them, and we can go from there.
Now, are you going to put a great big red ribbon around her neck and make her look all Christmassy?
Well, if we could find some red ribbon and stuff in that'd be a good idea.
Okay. Well, now, unfortunately, I would imagine that there probably are a lot of dogs looking for a home, and I don't think there's anything sadder than looking into a dog's eyes that's looking for a home, especially this time of the year. I just hope and pray that a lot of people kind of open up their hearts and open up their minds and open up their homes and say, hey, we could use a puppy dog.
Exactly, and that's kind of one of the things we're hoping for. One of my goals to try to do this year is I want to try to have our facility as emptied out by Christmas as much as possible, and try to find all the furry friends that we have and a home for the holidays. And even those, if somebody's interested in maybe fostering over Christmas, so that we can actually have our employees be able to not have to worry too much on Christmas Day, having to come in and do a lot of cleaning and stuff, and that we'd appreciate it. So if anybody's interested in even fostering on that, they can contact us at the shelter or on my cell phone, and anything that they can do to help us out on that this Christmas season would be great. We're always in need of like dog food, leashes, collars, blankets, especially this time of year where it's getting colder and stuff, and that we like to try to keep them up off the floor as much as possible. On that. So, anything on that would make these dogs have a wonderful Christmas would be greatly appreciated.
You know, you just said something a minute ago that would be so easy, and I think I've seen it in action a couple of times last year. When people go to a store, like we're going to be over at Valleywide next week on Thursday for our Christmas remote, and you're going to be over there singing, it would be so easy for them to go up to the counter if they're buying like 2 or 3 bags of dog food for their dogs, just to add another one on and just leave it there for you folks at the dog care center.
Yeah, that would be great. And even if they just want to go over and grab one of the collars and stuff and that, or one of the leashes, or something little water disher. Anything stuff and that. We appreciate everything that everybody does and stuff and that to help us out.
Well, I'll tell you what, besides Sasha, is there any other dogs you want to mention today? Maybe we can make it a twofer on this Thursday.
Well, I've got one and stuff and that we featured a couple weeks ago on that Sadie, and that's the tan pit bull that is not not good with small dogs, and that we found out, because we actually had somebody that was interested in her, but they had a small dog, and she's really not fond of dogs that are smaller than she is.
I see.
But she's a sweetheart. I mean, she just loves to be loved on, and lots of attention given to her. I mean, she'd make somebody a wonderful pet as well, as long as they didn't have dogs or cats.
Okay. Okay, once again, let's quickly go over the numbers and the hours that you're open, all this kind of stuff. Ken, please.
Okay, we're open from Monday through Friday, 9 to 1, and Saturday from 9 to 11, and they can reach us at 438-2200 or 670-7268.
I tell you what, I just really have a lot of respect for the job you're trying to do over there, and the dog that we featured today primarily was help me if I say it wrong, Black Labrador, and she is named Sasha, and you said she is absolutely a loving dog, so they better check on that.
Most definitely. She is a sweetheart.
All right, Ken, let me be one of the first to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas, and I'm looking forward to hearing you next week on Thursday over at Valleywide.
Oh, and I'm looking forward to doing it. And I've been practicing your favorite song and at Mr. Grinch. So,
you know, honestly, that along with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, I'm sure you're going to be a smashing success.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
They have a surprise guest and stuff, and that come in and help with a little bit of singing on that day as well. So we don't know on that yet, but if they show up, we'll definitely throw them in the mix.
We'll look forward to it, Ken. Thanks so much for being on the show.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Good friend of mine, Ken Mort, and he is, of course, the officer in charge of Minidoka Animal Control. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Oh, yeah. That dog, that black lab, sounds like such a sweetheart. Somebody get over there and check on that dog. They call her Sasha. Sounds like a wonderful, wonderful dog. Hey, Cameron and Siemens, Highway 24 in Rupert, when you think about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, yep, you better think about our friends, Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens. Absolutely dedicated and responsive to your needs and very accessible to help you. So please call them today, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really, really nice people. Also, real quick, I want to remind you about what's going on at Quali's Electronics in Twin Falls. Holy buckets. I mean, talk about saving money. Save money. I'm telling you, listen to this. You'll save $300 on the top-selling 65-inch smart TV, now only $9.99. And listen to this, Blu-ray players, just $49. And crazy low prices like a Samsung 32-inch LED for just $199. I know these people. I know the Qualies. I know Steve and Bruce and the whole crew in there, and they are out to serve you. Don't miss this great sale going on right now at Quali's Electronics, 1730 Kimberly Road. Wonderful people wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Let's go to the phone lines right now, and we have a lovely lady on the air ready to talk to us. Hello, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you all doing?
I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous, and I'll tell you why. I'm looking at the volatility and of what's going on across our United States. I'm looking at racism rearing its ugly head. I'm looking at a president and a attorney general that are doing nothing to try to stop the burning fuse that's going on in this country. As a matter of fact, they're enhancing it. I'm looking at a little pompous banty rooster of Al Sharpton stirring the pot of racism, and he should be in prison for tax evasion. What is going on in this country?
Well, I hate to be repetitive, but it's the same old thing, and I refer to this fairly often on your program. I think this is the Cloward and Piven thing, overwhelm the system. And the president and the attorney general have tried to do numbers of different things to cause upheaval and problems. And I think this is just one of the things that, Eric Holder has been saying, well, I was discriminated against, and this and that and the other, and he's saying all of this stuff. In fact, that sheriff from Wisconsin, Dave Clark, even addressed that very thing when he was on... he was giving a talk, and then he was actually on the Kelly File, and I can't remember who else he was on, but he had addressed it, that Eric Holder says, he was kind of targeted and everything, and yet, it all of a sudden comes up now. And this was, years ago when he was a prosecutor, and it's like, why did you not bring up that kind of stuff then? Well, it's because it wasn't true, and he's just making up stuff now to make it look bad and just to add fuel to the fire.
But let's kind of pick apart these things one at a time. If Rita Ramsey or your husband or anybody that you know was $4.5 to $5 million in arrears to the IRS, and you had also been involved in some other shady dealings, do you honestly think that you, A, would be involved in going to the White House almost 100 times to be a confidant to the president? Do you think that you'd be walking around at all? You'd probably already have been arrested and had a court hearing date set. What is going on with the lawlessness with this administration?
Well, the deal is that they choose the winners and the losers, and as long as it's anybody that they want, they'll make them win, and the rest of us can be losers, and that's all there is to it. And we don't really understand, and we won't know until this president's second term is over, but we have a lot of consequences because of his election, and that's all there is to it.
Rita,
they're on steroids, whichever direction they're going.
Absolutely. When you look at what's going on, though, with the grand jury in Ferguson, Missouri, I mean, these people are just the meat and potatoes people of the world. They are people that are involved in their community. They are people that are involved in businesses. They're moms and dads and aunts and uncles. I cannot see a grand jury spending 3 months of their lives of trying to wade through the evidence and trying to be dishonest. They're not trying to be dishonest. They tried to do the best job they could. They looked at the evidence. They looked at what the officer did. They looked at what the boy, Michael Brown, did. They looked at everything, and they came out with a no indictment. And all of a sudden, the whole world started blowing up because the blacks didn't feel they were getting justice. And then this mess in New York City with another criminal. He had a rap sheet. They tried to arrest a huge black man, and unfortunately they put him in a headlock and he died. It seems like the police in this country and the volatility is getting so severe, I don't know where to turn next.
Well, it's really sad, and that deal in New York, that is just a really sad deal, and it's too bad that they weren't able to, when he started saying that he couldn't breathe, that they weren't able to just let up enough. They'll say, and I mean, I saw the video, that people will say, well, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't even resisting arrest. Well, it looked to me like he was getting a little bit, hey, don't do this. And when they started to try to handcuff him, he started to kind of take him on. And so it's kind of a bad deal, and I feel bad for the police. This one has gone really, really bad, and the grand jury, the people on that grand jury, they had to have had a specific set of rules that they could go by to determine what they did. They weren't in it for the police only. They were in it to see, what needed to be done there. And I really feel bad about the whole thing. The problem is, and it comes down to one thing, if the police come to you, you better submit and do the process, and hopefully you're not going to be railroaded someplace, but you have got to submit to them. They're in charge. It's just like a little kid at daycare. The daycare person is in charge, and you better do what they're supposed to do.
But, Rita, this situation right now, race in this country, I think is worse than it's ever been since the 1960s in Selma, Alabama. And they're saying that they're not having fairness. And Bill de Blasio said yesterday he threw his own police department in New York City under the bus, and he said that racism is running rampant. And he said, quote, it has been for centuries. Rita, our country leads the world in fighting racism. We have a black president. We have a black attorney general. Would you please tell me, if it's running rampant, why we elected blacks to those respective offices?
Well, it's not running rampant, and you've just got some race baiters out there that are trying to make us think that it's happened. I heard some statistics this morning on an earlier program, and it said that there were 193 people that were white that killed black people. There were 2,056 black people who killed a white person. 2,056 as to 193. And there were over 5,000 black killing blacks just in the last year.
Oh, my. Oh,
now,
my.
Does that sound like that the whites are outgunning the blacks?
But why, Rita, we live in an area that is basically conservative, and it is basically white, and then, of course, Hispanic. Why do you think that this racism is all of a sudden under the headlines of Obama and Holder for the last 6 years? Why is it getting out of control?
Well, they know the hot buttons. And the hot button is if you're in an argument with somebody and they start saying you're a racist, what do? You automatically just shut down and let them have their way.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what they're trying to do on a bigger scale is just start saying that, everybody's racist and this and that and the other. That deal on Bill O'Reilly last night, that Tavis Smiley, he kept saying about everything he was leading to was on how bad the blacks are being treated and how the whites hate them.
Yeah.
And that is not true as a general rule. I'm sure that it exists in some places. My great grandma raised my dad, and she was from Tennessee, and they were very, very anti-black, and there were a lot of N-words used in their language over the years. And we've changed our language and our things, so I know there are people out there, but that's more of like a 1940s and a 1950s thing than it is a 2010 and 14.
Well, Rita, nobody in this area knows the seriousness of having racism thrown at you in regards to you are a racist than I do. You remember 6 years ago what happened. You remember I came down and talked to you folks about it. You remember the Democrats were absolutely after me because I was against Barack Obama becoming president. Automatically in their little thin eyes, I was a racist. But at the same time, which they don't recall because they haven't got the mental capacity of a bicycle spoke, I was advocating Condoleezza Rice for president. She's kind of the same color, is she not?
Oh, absolutely. They just use that as a way to get off the subject when they start losing ground. That's all there is to it. And we back off and we let them do it because we don't want to have that argument anymore.
I agree.
It's a sad deal, but that's what happens.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Yeah, it's really sad what's happening, but all of this is deflecting away from the amnesty and the other major problems that are out there. So it's again. But this is all about exploiting black versus white, rich versus poor, and so forth. And but just hot off the press, nobody knows who Loretta Lynch is. She's Obama's pick for Attorney General. It just happens that she was a college at the same time as Eric Holder's wife was, and. So now she's going to be the gatekeeper. She's supposed to be investigating all this illegal stuff that Holder and Obama have been doing, but she's one of them. So there won't be any difference there. So we need to oppose Loretta Lynch as the new Attorney General situation.
All right.
She's definitely not going to get the job done.
I'll have Rita respond to that on the air this morning, caller, and thank you very much. Rita, go ahead. What about Loretta Lynch? The name itself kind of scares me.
Well, it does, and I had brought this up a couple of weeks ago. We're not going to see anything different with the new Attorney General. Mm-hmm. We are not going to see anything different until we have this president leave office, and if we get another Democratic president, it will just continue on because that's the plan. Our biggest problem is Congress and the Senate. We have got to make sure that these folks out there that are representing us are really going to represent us. And, just like he said, this deal about the race thing, this is what's going out here with the right hand, and the left hand's behind us doing all kinds of directing traffic, trying to keep things moving in the direction so that we won't pay attention to it. And this immigration thing is going to go forward. Boehner and McConnell both are totally okay with it. They are advocates for the Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Those people have spent literally millions of dollars on many Congress and Senate people so that they could get them reelected instead of having somebody new that might say, you know what, we've got to get the immigration thing under control. Because the Chamber of Commerce are the ones who probably want it the very most, next to the Democrats who just want the voting bloc.
You know, Rita, yesterday I thought Mike Crapo was going to be calling in, and then I got a hold of his office, and thanks to my wife and everything for follow-up, we had a change in schedule. He's going to be on next week. I'm just going to be very honest with him and very blunt and tell him that, hey, you've got this last chance. This is your last chance as a Republican Party to stand up and show some backbone. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't want to see McConnell sitting with the president arm in arm laughing in the same room by the fireplace. I don't want to see Boehner there at the fireplace smiling next to Obama. I want to see some hard-nosed politics of the Republicans showing some backbone and telling America that this man's policies, Obama's policies, have led us to the brink of the cliff and we're about ready to fall off.
Oh, you're absolutely right, and I don't want to see them. What I want to know is when there has to be compromise, why is it always the conservatives supposedly compromising with the liberals, and we go the liberal direction? We don't ever have the liberals come over and compromise with the conservatives.
You know, that's such a good point, and it needs to be elaborated on, because right off the bat, the news media, ABC, CBS, NBC, and all of them, oh, well, now the Republicans are going to have to learn how to compromise. Why? Why? They won fair and square. The nation did not want compromise. They don't like Obama's policy, so throw them out and let's get something else started.
No, you're absolutely right. And to show that, remember how over the last several weeks, every time somebody starts talking about the Senate and the Congress starting to do something, now, we don't want the government shut down. It didn't work well for the Republicans before, and blah, 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 blah. Well, I kind of think it did work kind of good for the Republicans because they were the ones who ousted a lot of the Democrats. So why not shut it down and say, you know what, until you get your act together, this is what we're going to do. The only thing with the federal government that they shut down that was absolutely horrific was when they shut down the World War II Memorial in Washington, which didn't need to be shut down because it's an outside event. It does not need park people. It doesn't need anybody to take money or anything else. You can just stroll in there and spend whatever time you want. It's totally open. They decided they needed to barricade it off. That was the only thing that was shut down, and the rest of it is all in our imagination.
Absolutely. Rita, I've got to get a weather forecast in here. Stand by just for a minute. It's brought to everybody by Urgent Care of Jerome, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome, Suite B. Number to call for minor emergencies, major care, 324-2004. 324-2004. They will see you today. Absolutely the best of people, the best of care, lower cost, convenient hours, no appointments are necessary, and a highly trained staff taking care of you. Whether you've got an ear infection or whether you've had an injury due to an accident, they will see you now at Urgent Care of Jerome, 133 West Avenue A, Suite B, 324-2004. And here now is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers is up at the ranch. Okay, it's real simple. You're in the tail end of this weather system that's giving everybody else snow, and you got the rain. You got rain for today and tonight, and you're going to taper off late tonight and have a nice day for tomorrow. Then Saturday, you're going to have a slight chance of rain. From Saturday night all the way through Tuesday next week, sun and clouds are partly cloudy. A lot more sun than clouds. Temperatures are consistently all the way through. Going to stay in the 50s for the daytime highs and get down in the 30s for the overnight low. There you go. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Urgent Care of Jerome, 133 West Avenue A, Suite B in Jerome. Number to call for minor emergencies, major care, 324-2004. Rita, there's so many things going on right now politically and with the world scene, and I think all of these issues here in the United States, whether it's Ferguson, whether it's the protests, whether it's New York, whether it's the protests of closing down the major thoroughfares and bridges, wait a minute. We've got people out there that are trying to kill us. We've got ISIS. We've got Al-Qaeda. And it seems like the news media has just completely overshadowed or obliterated the very much more serious venues that are in the news.
No, that's exactly right. And if you'll take a look back, and somebody mentioned this, I think it might have been on your show earlier this week, might have been last week, of by them actually zeroing in on Ferguson and paying attention to that, and now all the deal in New York City, we're not paying any attention to ISIS or Netanyahu or what's going on over there, or that school teacher that was killed yesterday in
Yemen.
Arabia, or any of those things. Those things aren't getting any kind of press attention at all, and those things are basically going by the wayside, and they're things that we need to be paying attention to.
You know, the thing is about America and Americans across the world right now. I was listening to, and his first name's Dakota. Please help me, Rita. He's a honored recipient at the White House for his valor fighting in Afghanistan, and I can't think of his last name, but he basically told Al-Qaeda, and he basically told ISIS, he said, you know, I'm not going to cower to you. I'm not going to erase the information on my web pages and everything else. I'm not going to change my lifestyle. You want me, you come and get me, but I will come after you.
Well, this is what has to happen, is people have to start being brave and saying, go ahead and come after me then. And you'll find out that those people who are threatening to come after you are basically cowards, and they're just trying to intimidate people. You know, this is just happening all over, and I know you had a caller earlier this morning call in on the deal with the road closures up in the South Hills.
Yeah.
We went to the next Cassia County meeting, and I did get a map, and there are 191 miles of roads up in the South Hills. The majority of them are in the Albion area in the Alamo Park. What happened was the Forest Service people, basically, they have their green machine. You know, we want to make sure that all of the watershed and da-da-da-da-da, and we've got to make sure we eliminate these motor vehicles because they're doing this and that and the other, and they have all kinds of things. The very biggest problem that we have with that is we found out that this was actually proposed in 2008, and our Cassia County commissioners, when they asked them about it, they said, well, we've put the ads in the paper and we've done this and that and the other. And so the Cassia commissioner says, well, I guess they've done their due diligence and they have to. And all the Forest Service was coming to do was to remind them that they were going to be closed off this next year coming up. They're going to roll big old, not blocks, but big old rocks and boulders into those places so that you can't get any kind of a vehicle through there. You could get a mountain bike, which you pedal, and you can walk, but you can't get in there any other way. And they're going to just totally close it off. Well, my deal is, and they say they can't afford to maintain a lot of those roads because their budgets have been cut and everything. Well, the big deal is, if they can't afford to maintain them, why don't they just leave them open? And if people want to go on them unmaintained, they can. But that's not what they want. They want to have them closed off so that there is absolutely no access to anybody with a vehicle. And you're going to have very few people that are going to hike in there. So they know they're not going to have very much. And basically what it is just a part of the Agenda 21.
That's right.
Its roots. And that's all that there is to it. And until we start doing something about it, they're doing these things 5 and 6 years ahead of time so that there's no big hurrah about it. And then comes, we had approval on that 6 years ago.
Rita, what I want you to do, please do not forget this. Send that to me or copies of such, because I have maintained, and you've heard me on the program with Jack Euler and many, many other people, maintain that our society is being absolutely ripped and torn because of Agenda 21, and people, the elderly, people that have physical challenges, and they are still working and or contributing to society as taxpayers, theirs. They are being singled out and absolutely being basically segregated from using land that is theirs because it's only going to be for the fit, the hiker, the 6'2" hiker, or the bicycle peddler that can go and enjoy our public lands. And I will fight this. I absolutely have a physical impairment, and if I want to go see my public lands, I am going to use a motorized vehicle or a horse, and I'm not going to be stopped by the Forest Service.
Well, they think that these lands are theirs and they're in charge of them, and they forget that they actually, in fact, I made that comment at the meeting. I said, I was kind of under the impression that these lands belong to we the people. Am I mistaken on that? One of the county commissioners said, yeah, it is us who are the actual owners of it, is, we the people. But the thing of it is they do all of this under the wraps. Nobody pays attention. And meanwhile, we've got hundreds of thousands of Americans who don't know squat about Agenda 21.
That's right.
And that's a new lead-off for me because that's what we're going to be talking about. We've got a discussion and a video that we're going to have, which is an educating one on Agenda 21 at our next Tea Party meeting, which is a week from today.
Okay. Rita, I'm out of time, but please send that information to me. I am going to fight these people all I can because I'm not fighting just for myself. I'm fighting for the person that came back from overseas that might not have a leg, might not have either leg, might not have an arm, but still can get into the backcountry by use of some kind of a vehicle, and they're being discriminated against, and I won't stand for it.
Well, the biggest problem is it should be all of us. It shouldn't matter whether they're older people or whether they have disabilities or whatever. This belongs to the Americans, not the federal government.
That's right.
If we had our lands back, it'd be a different story. But this is our land, and every one of us have a stake in it.
Absolutely. Rita Ramsey, God bless you. I'm flat out of time. Caller, I'm sorry. I've got to get another segment in. Rita, thank you so much, and God's blessings, and Merry Christmas to you.
Okay, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget our friends at Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness, yes, they've got everything. All the markdown prices on a Whirlpool, and Maytag appliances. 12 months, same as cash on approved credit. And don't forget, tomorrow and Saturday, they're calling it Super Friday and Saturday. Free vacation vouchers with a purchase of over $699. Many locations to choose from. I bit my tongue. Many locations to choose from. That sounded better and felt good, too. Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Real quick, if you're hungry and starving to death, I got some great places for you to go. How about the Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh boy, I love the Southern Baked Burrito. Either soft shell or grilled shell, either chicken or steak, made a special way that just Kip knows how to make. And then follow it up with a dessert like pumpkin empanadas. They are good. All the food's good at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Hamburgers still 99 cents after 3 p.m. on Monday through Friday. Add cheese for just 30 cents more. And bread bowl soup. You're going to love that. Monday through Friday, all the different flavors every day. All of this and more at Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Let's not forget Steve-O's. Merry Christmas from Steve-O's at 290 South 600 West of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. They've got a brand new entryway, and it enters into heaven because that is where the delicious food is made, and you can have like the Steve's nacho fries and the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. Check out the steak sandwich. All of this great, delicious food at Steve-O's, 290 South 600 West of Hayburn. And I said, food made the way you like it. Duck Uglies. Hello, everybody at Duck Uglies. Love that place. 163 West Highway Highway 30 in Burley, right next to Berry Equipment and Rental. And they've got ribeye steaks that'll knock your boots off, New York steaks and salmon and shrimp. And it's kid and family friendly in a non-smoking environment. Oh my goodness, they're open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 11 till 10. You're going to love the people. You're going to love the food at Duck Uglies. And last but not least, let's not forget the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh my goodness, have you had a Farmer Brown burger? Well, you'd better get in and have one today. Famous Farmer Brown burger with the fries and the special sauce and maybe a milkshake. They can make any flavor milkshake. Or try the 3-piece fish and chips with small fry, just $7.25. Good food, great people, at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Needless to say, Gina is. We're going to take a little break right now and listen to ABC News, and then we're going to come back, and we've got a whole bunch of good folks coming on the next half hour. Stay tuned. Zeb at the Ranch will be back in just a few minutes. I love that. Gets you in the spirit, doesn't it? Gina, thank you. Excellent job. I love Christmas music. Thank you so much. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and we'll be talking to them in just a few minutes. And also our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Hey, by the way, the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Today they've got a special that really ought to warm you up. It will really make you hungry. And then when you finish, you're going to be just as satisfied as can be. Lasagna served with garlic toast, veggies, and super salad. It is going to be good. Lasagna at the Chadwick Sports Grill. You're going to love the people, love the environment, and love all the menu items at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and enjoy lunch today. Right now, as I mentioned, we're going to head on down to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and I have no clue who is on the other end of the line.
Good morning, Zeb. It's Santa Claus.
Hello, Santa Claus, and I bet you wouldn't like me at 200 and some odd pounds to come down and perch on your knee, so we'll do it long distance.
All right. And to begin with, in as much as this is one of our long-standing traditions, our Santa Claus sale, can you give us a big ho-ho-ho?
Ho-ho-ho!
Oh, that's a great intro. Let me share with you what's in Santa's bag today. We have got a number of items throughout our store less than $99. And I'll give you a few examples. We have nightstands, accent tables, we have some bookcases, some 3-door chests, we have lamps, pictures, and a nice variety of greenery to spruce up your home, all less than $99. Along with that, we've got several things that are free. During the month of December, we have free financing, we have free delivery for the asking, and get a free frame with the purchase of any of our full and queen-size Simmons mattresses. So we've got some great Santa specials throughout the store.
You know, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that when it comes this time of the year and they've worked hard all year, you've got so many great buys, whether it's on recliners, whether it's on carpet for their home. It's time to treat themselves.
It is. It's a wonderful time and a time to get comfortable and to stay warm. And come throughout the store because we make a special effort for special purchases, which gives us great buys throughout. We've got these wonderful power recliners starting at just $3.99. That is such a tremendous value. We just received in several pallets of new luxury vinyl tile flooring. We've got new rolls of carpet coming in, vinyl, great selection of remnants. And then, of course, don't forget, we have right now our 14-piece furniture living room group. That's sofas and tables and accessories
priced just at $9.99 for all 14 pieces.
Boy, I tell you what, I was mentioning just the other day that you've got all the accessories, that are really going to accentuate the beauty of your home, like the chest of drawers and the lamps and the pictures and all the greenery. It's all there. I mean, everything they need for the beautification of their home.
It is. One more thing, Zeb, this time of year, it's a great way to warm up the home, spruces up that look a little bit, and it's a great insulator and energy savings, and that's our window coverings. We have a wonderful window covering department, and we have companies participating with us on all kinds of window covering shades, the silhouettes and the shutters and anything that might meet your needs. We have them up to 60% off. So come in. We're glad to assist, help, take measurements, make that an enjoyable buying process.
All right. Brett Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Gets us in the season.
All right. Thanks, Brett.
You're sure welcome.
All right. Take care. Brett Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We're waiting for you at 459 Overland in Burley. Before we go to our next guest, real quick, with Cassia County School Days, I just want to wish some Merry Christmas wishes from Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 West of Paul and Kimberly Road, and they are your Zmatic dealer for all your irrigation needs. They will get you wet. That's right, over 35 years of experience. Merry Christmas from Butte Irrigation. And Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. She's got a great idea. Stop over to Vicky's or give them a call at 438-5663 and give gift certificates for next spring and summer's gardening. That's right. Merry Christmas from Vicky's Country Garden. And last but not least, you need to hear everything that's going on around you. So be sure and check with Mount Harrison Audiology at 1218 9th Street, Unit 2, right across the street from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room. And this lovely lady can help you make sure that you're hearing everything, and it gives greater understanding of your environment. Don't let your hearing dissipate. Stop in or give a call to Mount Harrison Audiology at 312-0957, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Right now, it's time for Cassia County School Days, and it's brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, where they say if you'll go in and mention my name, Zeb Bell, you'll receive 25% off on any item. Hey, stop in today. They've got great Christmas shopping ideas at A Child's World, and don't forget they've got all the layaways and the free gift wrapping. You stop in and see these wonderful people today. It's a family store in Burley, A Child's World, 1308 Overland. And don't forget, too, a lot of people have met their deductible on their insurance plans right now, and it's time to schedule the procedures you've been waiting for to feel better. Whether it's hand surgery or colonoscopies or eye surgery, please give the Ambulatory Surgery Center a call and get all the information, and they can save you money. The number is 677-8888. 677-8888, located at 1344 Highland in Burley. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Whew, gotta breathe, Zeb. And right now, here is the superintendent of schools for Cassia County, a dear friend of mine for over 40 years. Boy, we're getting old. Mr. Galen, Dr. Galen Smyer. Let me get the title correctly. Good morning, Galen. How are you?
I'm doing well, Zeb. And you?
I'm in the Christmas spirit. Ho, ho, ho.
Well, on that note, I hope you and your family had a great Thanksgiving, but since our paths don't cross as often as I'd like, I would like to take this opportunity to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And the same right back at you. I have the highest regard for your family. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember this or not, but real quick, do you remember the coaster that you gave me a couple of years ago regarding announcing the Burley Rodeo?
I do, and unfortunately it was more than a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I didn't want to put a lot of age on. I'm trying to find if the year. I use it on my desk right here, and it does not have a year on it, but I just want to say to you and your family how nice you've been to us over the years, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, Well, you're very welcome.
Galen, what is going on with education? I know that the upcoming legislative session is right around the corner, and as every year, all the different entities in the state are looking for possibly more funding for their respective cases. What about funding for education?
Well, that's at the top of our priority, Zeb. As school officials, as you know, in about 2009, 2010, there was a recession where the state had to cut back. They just didn't have the revenues that they had previously, and so there had to be reductions to state budgets, and their appropriations were reduced in many of the areas, including education. To give you a perspective, Cassia County School District went backwards about $5 million from 2009 to 2013. And so we're hopeful as the economy builds back that we can have some of those funds restored, because we had to do a couple of things during that period of time, and we're not any different than other districts around us. But we either had to reduce staff or reduce salaries, and we did some of both. Mm-hmm. And our staff reductions were through attrition. We didn't have to go through a formal reduction in force, but we haven't filled positions that we would very much like to, and in some cases desperately need to.
You know, Galen, you've been on my program many, many times, as have others from other school districts and areas involving education. And I'm just going to speak in a neutral zone right here, that there's a lot of people that are saying, good heavens, you know, money, money, money. Money doesn't fix all the problems, and you can't just throw money at it. How do you respond to that when you hear people say that?
Well, that's a pretty broad generalization, and when you get down and look at specifics, there are areas where additional money would make a huge difference. And I go back to teacher salaries; they've gone backwards. Also, we're working with fewer staff members with an increasing number of students, and so money is a solution to some of those issues. Mm-hmm. Just a blanket statement, do you just plug money into the system without regard to where it goes? I can understand the apprehension and the aversion to doing that, but clearly there are specific needs that we've identified and that the other districts have where money is a solution, and the state is our source of revenue for those things.
Galen, would you...
Revenues cover our facilities, mm-hmm. and facilities maintenance, and we do have a supplemental in our district, but we have not used any of those funds for salaries. Some districts do that, but ours, we've not dedicated those funds to salaries.
Let me ask you this question, Galen, and again, this has been brought up on my program in the past. How do you in Cassia County rate with perhaps what's going on up in Ada, their school districts, or way up north by Coeur d'Alene or Lewiston? I mean, is the state of Idaho in its entirety, are you all suffering from the same shortages?
Basically, yes. There are a couple of districts that are charter districts that have a separate funding mechanism that helps them. And then some districts are able to pass large supplemental levies, and in some cases those have been used to restore the funding that was lost so that they could continue to pay their teachers the salaries that they should, and provide the number of staff members. So the affluence of different areas of the state has started to create a lot of disparity in the state funding. Prior to 2006, there was an equalization formula that poorer districts, and ours is one of those, believe it or not. We're about the 10th or 11th or 12th largest district in the state, mm-hmm. but our per capita ability to pay tax and things is not as great as some other areas. And so Some school districts are hugely disadvantaged in that regard, and many of those are remote schools and small and remote schools all over the state, and so there is a huge disparity. But yes, there's a couple of districts that are not feeling the pain to the same degree that everyone else is, but by and large, everybody is had to make do with less.
Let me ask you this question, and I don't mean to sound naive, but I have never really thought about the answer to this. How do you, as a superintendent, and all the other superintendents from around the state of Idaho, how do you come up with a compilation of figures for a net figure that you're going to ask the legislative session for?
A lot of times, Zeb, that's in response to the state superintendent of public instruction will put forward a budget and request funding in certain areas. And we base our requests kind of around what that proposal is. And as you know, the governor puts forth a budget in the state of the state as well. And we work within those parameters. Again, we can look at the total dollar amount that we've been reduced, and that drives some of our needs. The state, the legislature has been very willing to put money back into education, but we need to be able to continue to do that. We need to be able to continue to recover those funds. If they restored us today for a 2009 level, we're still 5 years behind, and that's not going to happen overnight. So we're continuing to advocate for restoration of those funds, and then any other additional increases that would help us in salaries or curriculum or professional development. As you know, the utility costs and insurance and all those things tend to creep up. With limited amounts of dollars, your dollars just don't go as far as they used to. Not to mention that we've got unfunded mandates that come from the federal government. They'll pass laws and give us a little bit of money, but the money that they give us doesn't anywhere come close to covering what the expectation is to fulfill or meet the law.
Well, let me ask you this question then, and we'll kind of wrap it up. I'm almost out of time. But when you look at what your needs are in comparison to other school districts around the state, how does the money situation look for this year going into fiscal 2015? Do you think you're going to be able to get the legislative session to appropriate the money that is necessary to at least start bringing back the funds that were lost in the last couple of years?
I'm going to say yes to that, because the legislators, again, last year they started that restoration. I think we've recovered almost $1 million of the $5 that were backwards. So they made some headway. The problem is we lost that $5 million just over 2 or 3 years, and so getting it back quickly is going to be the challenge. But as state revenues have increased, the legislators have been very willing to look at the requests. Now, as you mentioned at the onset of the conversation, health and welfare and every other state agency also has additional financial needs. So it becomes a very difficult job for our legislators to sort through all that and be able to disperse the money that they do have.
Absolutely. Galen, I'm out of time, but are there any final thoughts? I hopefully will get you back on the program prior to the session, but any special thoughts that you want to finish the program on this morning?
Well, just that things are going well. Our enrollments are up. Our students are working hard. Our teachers are working hard. But a lot of it goes right back to community support and parental support. And I'm so appreciative to be able to live in this community. It's a choice that I made early on. As you'll recall, I lived went to school and lived in Utah for a time. Mm-hmm. I had a chance to come home, and many of your listeners are in that same situation. People that have left the area for a time and then came back by design to live in this great community. And I speak of the entire Magic Valley as a community. It's a great place to live.
Merry Christmas, my dear friend, and hopefully we'll get you back on prior to the holiday season, but anytime, you're welcome on the show.
Take care, Zeb.
All right. Thank you very much. Galen Smyer, the superintendent of schools for Cassia County, and I have the highest regard and respect for him and his family. School Days in Cassia County brought to you by A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Two wonderful businesses helping promote school days in Cassia County. Holy cow, we've got another man coming on the phone in just a minute, and I've got to tell you all about our dear friends over at Snyder Surplus. Don't forget, they've got everything over there. They've even got thermal undies. Yes, they do, and all the wool socks to keep warm and toasty. And they've got furniture like couches and recliners and bedroom sets, and they got all your file cabinets. Holy cow, I'd like to know, I'd like to have an itemized list of everything they have. They probably don't know everything they've got. It's amazing, the inventory over at Snyder Surplus. Brand new store, brand new merchandise, but the same friendly service. Leland, Tammy, the whole crew, they are wonderful people. Stop over at 112 South, 200 west of Rupert. Snyder Surplus, serving you. Really, really good folks. Also, I want to remind you, next Thursday, we're going to be over at Valleywide Home and Ranch, and that's going to be the Great Big Christmas Remote. You do not want to miss it. We're going to be over at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. We're going to get there early in the morning, and right away early in the morning, we're going to have some free cinnamon rolls. You don't want to miss that. And we're going to have all kinds of in-store specials. We're going to have music over there with Ken Mort. We're going to be on the air broadcasting for 3 hours. And it is going to be a gala Christmas event right there at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Don't you miss it. Put it on your calendar. We're going to be over there next Thursday, the 11th, from 8 to 11. Going to be fantabulous. So come on by and wish everybody Merry Christmas. Right now, let's go to the phone lines real fast, and we're going to be visiting with my old buddy Nick at Berry Equipment and Rental at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Nick, ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, Zeb. How are you today?
What are you doing over there with that red hat on and that white beard?
Hey, how'd you know?
Hey, man.
Actually, we're setting our Christmas tree up right now.
Okay.
So, right.
All right. Well, now listen, at this time of the year, Nick, I would imagine that if anybody made some extra cash this year and they're looking for equipment, boy, oh boy, can you help them. I'll let you tell everybody about it.
Well, that's right. We've got a number of different deals going on right now. The main promotion is if you come in and buy a tractor, doesn't matter what size, or a UTV, or a skid steer, virtually any whole goods piece, we throw in a free chainsaw up to 20-inch. Just depends on what you want.
Oh, my.
We have Coyote tractors starting right at $15,995. I have one of those left. And then we have our big Doosan stuff on sale. You can lease for as low as $18.99 a month. Then we also have 1.9% financing up to 60 months. Skid steers are 0 for 48, and we have more skid steers today than we've had all year.
Oh, my goodness. So really, depending upon the job, you have got all the equipment to get the job done right.
You got it. We have everything from lifts to lawnmowers to tillers and you name it.
And I understand that you've got a shop out there and also some really good mechanics that are going to keep everything running smoothly, right?
That we do. We actually hired a guy that had been working at Les Schwab for a number of years, and he's doing really well for us. We're catching up on service, and we've done more customer repair this year than we ever have in the past.
All right. Now, Nick, you've got 3 locations of Berry Equipment and Rental, so if they're around the valley listening someplace, why don't you tell everybody where you're located?
So in Twin Falls, we're by the old hospital on Addison Avenue. In Jerome, we're on South Lincoln, behind the auction house there, and across the street from the rec center. Then in Burley, we're just about 3/4 of a mile east of McCain Foods. Can't miss us.
All right, and I'll tell you what, these are the greatest folks, and they've got all your needs. When it comes to machinery and heavy equipment, they've got it right there for you. The equipment to get any job done right. We're listening to old Nick. Nick, give us a Santa Claus ho, ho, ho. I want to see if you qualify.
Ho, ho, ho.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, well, listen, we're going to be down there to check under the tree to see if we've got any presents, so you have a great day, okay?
Thank you, sir. You too.
All right. God bless you. Nick over at Berry Equipment and Rental, and he's at the 159 West Highway 30 location. Don't forget Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls and also South Lincoln and Jerome for all your equipment to get the job done right. Berry Equipment and Rental. Really, really nice folks. Let's get some Christmas wishes here real fast before we forget, if we could. I want to, let me see, have I got to do that right now? Hold on, I got to check my list to make sure I've got that scheduled. No, I got to talk to you about Four Paws. I'm sorry. Four Paws Bed and Bath, 370 West, 200 south of Rupert. My goodness, 438-4444. They're having their annual Santa party for Christmas on December 13th. From 11 to 3, they're going to be taking pictures of your pets and children with Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho! Great sales throughout the store. Spin the wheel for great discounts and also yummy, yummy refreshments. You better believe it, it's always fun. The Great Big Santa Party at Four Paws Bed and Bath, 370 West, 200 south of Rupert on December 13th. Number to call, 438-4444. We're going to take a little break and be right back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you. Running a little bit late here this morning, but I want to stop break for a moment and tell you all about Gary Shoresman and his wonderful books and history of this area. Fantastic books for the history buff and keepsakes for generations to come. He's made so many books like Arid Acres, 3rd edition, A History of Camima and Minidoka Homesteaders, The Way We Were, Stringtown Riverton, A Window into the Past, and the list goes on. All of his books are on sale at the bookstore on the square and Minidoka County Museum. You would be amiss if you didn't check out these great books for Christmas gift giving. As I said, keepsakes for generations to come. These books written by Gary Shoresman, a very talented writer. You check out those books today. Also, I want to remind you about our dear friend Reese Widmeyer and the crew. I love my store at Sportsman's Warehouse. Oh, boy, do I like to go into Sportsman's Warehouse. At 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Don't forget, there's something for everybody on your list. They've got everything from guns to ammunition to fishing equipment. You name it, it's there. Knives, tools, archery, it's all there for you at Sportsman's Warehouse. At prices you can't afford to pass up. It's your gift-giving headquarters, Sportsman's Warehouse. Like 20% off a Stanley on all their products, like the thermoses, etc. Check out all the great guns and ammunition. And, of course, don't forget they've got all the Coleman equipment, the 4D multi-purpose LED lantern. Now just $29.99. All of this and more. At my store, yours too, Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Let's go to the phone lines right now, and I get a chance to visit with a gentleman I don't think I've had on this program before. Let's say good morning to Mr. Scott Whitlock. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming in at kind of the last minute. I had a cancellation, and I'm very appreciative that you could get on the program with us this morning. Scott, there was a lady by the name of Elizabeth Lawton, and she very poignantly pointed out to the American public that Obama's daughters possibly were not the classiest in the way they were dressing and acting at a White House ceremony. And boy, the public and the news media just went after her and attacked her, and basically she had to end up resigning her position. But it's kind of ambiguous because the Democrats have got a lot of holes in their screen door with a gentleman by the name of Donnie Ray Williams, and maybe you'd like to tell us about him.
Sure, yeah, it was quite a contrast. So you have Donnie Ray Williams. He was a staff director in the Democrats' Senate majority. He worked with Mary Landrieu, Elijah Cummings, other prominent Democrats. Well, about 2 years ago, he was caught up in a sex assault case, and we just recently, in the last few days, he was convicted on these charges, and you saw no coverage of it. And those in the media would probably say, well, he's a low-level Democratic staffer, who cares about this? It's not national news. But as you just pointed out, we have the flip side of Elizabeth Lawton, who is a low-level GOP staffer for an obscure congressman, and she posts something on her Facebook wall, and the media just blows it up. We looked at the amount of coverage, and just over 2 days, he had 14 minutes on Elizabeth Lawton, and there's been nothing on this Democratic staffer.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Scott. Are you talking on a conference call, Mike, or are you talking directly into a phone receiver?
Directly into a phone.
Okay, because we're getting a lot of background noise for some reason, and I can hear other voices back there. Why do we have such a difference of the way people are treated? I mean, here we have a sexual assault with Donnie Ray Williams, and then we have a criticism of the White House and Obama's daughters, and why is the media shading one and trying to crucify the other?
Well, that's sort of the age-old question. The liberal media often will ignore scandals when they involve Democrats or liberals and play them up when they involve conservatives or Republicans. But particularly with this president, as we've been documenting since he was elected, and I'm sure you and your listeners have noticed that they are not interested in his scandals. They're not interested in investigating them, and we've seen that time and again. So this was an issue where you had a GOP staffer say something that some people thought was inappropriate, but again, she was an obscure staffer for an obscure congressman, and you talk about a slow news week, they just blew it up, and you saw all sorts of coverage for this, and there's just been nothing on a Democratic staffer who did something far more serious. We're not talking about Facebook comments. We're talking about he's been now convicted on sexual assault charges, and what we try and do at the Media Research Center is say, just hold people to the same standard. If you're going to hold one to one standard, then if you're going to hold Republicans to one standard, hold Democrats to one standard. And so you would think, looking at the two cases, that the case of Donnie Williams would at least get some coverage, but they haven't been interested in it at all.
Yeah. Scott, let me ask you, do you think as a journalist that it was wrong or was it acceptable to criticize Obama's daughters? And before you answer that, I'll tell you right up front, it's not the first time this has ever happened in history. I mean, it goes way back to Truman and his family. It goes to George Bush with his daughters. So I don't see why Obama and his family should be so sacred. Go ahead and give me your answer.
Well, I would look at it from the media perspective, and I would just say that you're right, that the families of politicians have been criticized. This is not the first time that this has happened, but I think what you see is constantly the difference between when a conservative or Republican does it and a liberal or a Democrat. We've looked at previous examples where when Rick Santorum ran for president in 2012, you had his family be trashed. His daughters were made fun of on a number of media outlets, and no one raised a fuss about that. Bill Maher would make fun of him for his children being homeschooled. And you have other examples, certainly the Palin family. And so if children are off limits, then they should be off limits. And, but as you're pointing out, that's not been the standard, and that's not been the standard of outrage in the media. So I think they should just stick with one standard or another, or not be so shocked when you have this example like the Elizabeth Lawton case.
I looked at the picture, and I did study the video, and I was aware of what happened there that day at the turkey pardoning, if you will. And to be quite honest with you, the way the daughters were dressed, to be in front of national cameras and their demeanor, and I thought it was a lack of class. I think that the first family, regardless of whether it's the mother, the daughters, or Obama himself, they should present themselves always with class. And I didn't see that with the daughters that day, and I thought, quite frankly, they were deserving of the criticism.
Well, certainly, I think there's a difference you can say between if just some random person said it, and then I think we probably maybe agree that from a media narrative, Republicans, they have to look at themselves as being held to a different standard. And so I'm sure that there are a lot of Republicans in the House and the Senate who would say to their staffers, it may not be fair, but you have to be held to a higher standard because the media is not going to give you, any sort of slack. They're not going to say, well, it's just, your opinion, or you're not going to get anything like that. So, regardless of whether or not it was right or smart for her to do that, Republicans and conservatives just have to be aware that the media are not going to give them that, slack, or they're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, even if they may be in the right in what they're saying.
You would be Solomon, and everybody would be bowing at your throne if you could come up with an answer as to how we can make a fairness situation out of this, to the point where if what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't see where it's ever going to get equalized with a liberalized thought in this country as far as in politics. Am I right or wrong?
I don't think it's going to get equal, but I think what you're seeing with the conservative movement and what you see with the Media Research Center, and what I tell people when I get this question, is that the media, they are just as bad as they ever were, but if you want sort of the case for optimism, you have to look at the fact that it is different than it used to be. You have that. You remember that famous example during the 2004 campaign when Dan Rather had the kind of the phony documents, and he put them on 60 Minutes, and they ran them and tried as an attack on George W. Bush. If that had happened in the 1980 against Reagan, or earlier than that, a lot of the times, the networks and the liberal media would get away with it, and it's harder for them to get away with it now because you have the Media Research Center, you have the internet, you have the Drudge Report, you have a conservative media and conservative outlets that are not going to let them get away with it. So I would just say that they're not fair, they are not equal, and they're not balanced, and they're as bad as they ever were, but you have more outlets that are holding them to account, which is, they clearly don't like that.
Scott, I'd be amiss if I didn't ask you a question about something else this morning, and I don't mean to throw this at you. It's not on our schedule of things we were going to talk about, but with the absolute dissension that is occurring now in New York with another case of police versus blacks, what are your thoughts about what's happening back there in New York City with Mayor Bill de Blasio basically yesterday getting in a press conference and trashing the police and throwing the entire police force under the bus? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think what we've kind of looked at, obviously these two cases, Ferguson and in New York, they're different cases with different sets of circumstances and evidence. But you're right that the media has been obsessed with it, and they have been giving it an awful lot of coverage. And what we've tried to focus on is there's a tendency in some of the reporting, some of the coverage is to broaden this as to show kind of systemic racism in America. This shows how horrible America is. And we've seen that on MSNBC. We've seen that we actually did put something up on The View, which is a popular, although it may be surprising, but it is a show that is taken seriously, and so we have to cover it. Rosie O'Donnell said that this was an example of the systemic racism in America. And so, to answer your question, why are the media, why are they so covering this so much and focusing on this so much? Is because a lot of people in the media have a tendency to sometimes think the worst of America, report the worst of America, and so they want to kind of broaden this to show this is what's wrong with America. This shows that America is still racist and things like that, and they're very sensitive to that critique and interest in that critique, and so I think that's why you're getting so much coverage. And as for de Blasio, he's sort of echoing that narrative. So obviously, the media, they're definitely going to repeat what he's saying about that.
But does it show, Scott, somewhat of a low IQ of Americans and their perception of what really is going on? And the reason I'm phrasing it like that is that for the first time in our history, we've elected a black president. For the first time in our history, we have a black attorney general and many other blacks in high positions in politics. So when de Blasio gets up there and says that race is running rampant, and then you have others saying that we're in the middle of a crisis with racism, how can you say that when they're making such strides to take leadership of our country?
Well, right. That is sort of the problem with, our media. One thing you have is the liberal bias, but another thing you have, and that we've really noticed, is a superficial bias. And a lot of the networks, ABC, for instance, they really don't cover news. They're not really interested in that much. So when they are going to cover something, it's going to be something sensational. And when you take sensational, which is what they're interested in, with their typical bias, and put those two together, you get the amount of coverage that you're going to see on stories like this. And so they just put those two things together. They're not interested in the narrative that you just mentioned, the narrative of the progress that America has made in just through the decades, and the fact that we have an African American president. They don't want to see that. They like to push the story of systemic racism. America is bad, and because that fits their narrative. To make a comparison, when we write or talk about gun control bias, one of the things we talk about is that they rarely are, if ever, are interested in stories where guns save lives, where people use their guns to defend themselves or stop crimes. Those things happen a lot, but they don't show up in the media. So, because that doesn't fit their narrative. So this case, in terms of the amount of coverage and the way some in the media are portraying this as an example of media racism, that does fit their narrative, and that's kind of their bias, and that's what they're interested in. So that's why you're seeing so much of this.
All right. I'll tell you what, you got to come back. I've enjoyed the conversation. Scott Whitlock, I think it's your first time on my program with the Media Research Center. Thank you so much, and let me extend to you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for being on the program this morning.
Thanks so much for having me. You can find more at newsbusters.org, and I appreciate it, and have a good Christmas yourself.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Very interesting young man, and his perceptive attitudes on what's going on in politics, and also with these problems in the media. Appreciate his being on the program. I've got to get a weather forecast in here, and the weather this hour with MichaelRogersWeather.com is brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. If you're having trouble deciding on a Christmas present for that certain person, order a Christmas gift box from Scarrows Meats. Different prices, different types of meat. Oh, it's delicious. Fantastic. Great idea. They sell taste one bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers is up at the ranch. Okay, it's real simple. You're on the tail end of this weather system that's giving everybody else snow, and you got the rain. You got rain for today and tonight, and you're going to taper off late tonight and have a nice day for tomorrow. Then Saturday, you're going to have a slight chance of rain. From Saturday night all the way through Tuesday next week, sun and clouds, or partly cloudy. A lot more sun than clouds. Temperatures are consistently all the way through. We'll stay in the 50s for the daytime highs, and get down in the 30s for the overnight low. There you go. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Selling taste one bite at a time. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday are called Super Friday and Saturday at Ritter Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. Why? Because you can go in and find everything you're looking for. Markdowns on appliances with Amana, Whirlpool, and Maytag. And if you spend over $699, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Many locations to choose from. Oh my goodness, 12 months same as cash on approved credit. You better stop in and see the good folks today at Ritter Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know, the fellow you were just talking to was talking about how the news media is only giving us what they want us to hear.
Yeah.
Why are we calling them the news media?
You know, you really bring up a good question, and you make a good point, because right now we're looking, excuse me, at so biased a news coverage. The ABCs, CBSs, and NBCs and CNNs not wanting to cover certain stories because it might embarrass somebody in the administration. I can make a list. If you'll give me another 20 minutes, I can come up with at least 20 to 30 stories of where there's bias in the news media, and they do not want to cause a shadow to go across the Obama administration. And we have to be very cognizant that we, the people, are aware of what's going on.
We only got a third of the people in the United States that vote.
That's right. That's right.
And they only got to fool 3/4 of them.
You know, and the thing about the voting, and I mentioned this the other day on the air, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me, the lack of knowledge by a huge percentage of the voters when they go to the polls. The voters have no idea what they're voting for, who they're voting for, what the stand is on politics, and quite frankly, I think there should be a civics test to make sure that these people have somewhat of a clue as to what their vote is going for.
Well, and they don't have no problem. They think life's good. It's their neighbors that has the problems that need help.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we're all doing well, why do we need to change anything?
You know,
they don't realize how they're giving away their freedoms a little bit at a time.
Amen. Sir, I appreciate your call, and let me extend to you and your family a very Merry Christmas. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas to you and yours.
All right, sir. Thank you. Very nice man. And he's right. The news media used to be so direct. It used to be that they gave you the news. They gave you the news, not their opinion, not a challenged version of the news, but they gave you the news. Simply put, this building burned down on 4th Street in Mapleton, USA, okay? And then they gave you the particulars, what happened, how the fire was caused, etc. Today, we've got too many people that are afraid that if they give the news story in the proper vein, it might shadow against somebody in politics, or it might sway somebody politically one way or the other. And that is a pity. It's a pity. Don't forget your winter driving. Absolutely all your driving needs for your traction tires, tires pinned for studs, all your tire chains, everything right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh my, they've got all the tires for your safe driving. Oh my, they've got all the knowledge to make sure that you get the right tires for your driving conditions. And the best in batteries. You know, you better check your battery. You don't want to be stuck out in the cold going, doggone. Well, or whatever you might say. You better check out the batteries they've got at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with the front end alignments, the shocks and struts, the best in brake service. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow, what a week. Thank you. We've had a lot of fun. We've got a lot more fun coming up next week as we draw closer and closer to Christmas 2014. I'm excited about it. Gina, excellent job over at the studio. Hey, I'm going to miss you next week.
You're going to miss me.
Yeah, you're going to just boogie.
Yeah, actually, I'll have a staycation. I'm going to be around, but I'm just taking a week off to get some things done.
Okay, well, I want you to know that when you're not on the air, you are sorrowfully missed.
Well, I will miss you, too, and maybe I'll harass you and stop by the studio.
Well, either that, please, or be sure and try to make it over to Valleywide next Thursday.
You got it, maybe even lunch punch.
Oh, there you go. Well, listen, you enjoy your week off, and I understand that old Scotty's going to be taking over, right?
Yes, he's going to be taking care of you, and I've got everything all planned out, so it should run flawlessly.
See, the way you said that, I'm almost offended by it, but he will be taking care of you. What is he going to do, put me in a wheelchair with a blanket and wheel me around the home?
No, but he's going to be pushing all of your buttons.
That didn't sound good either.
I know, right?
So anyway, we're looking forward to a lot of things going on this weekend. We're drawing closer to Christmas season. All the Christmas music and the lights and the trees. Man, we've got everything set up over here thanks to Deanne. And I want to extend to everybody out there in Radio Land, just enjoy the season. I think Gina and everybody will agree with me. Savor it for what it is. Savor it for all you can kind of milk out of it. It's a great time of the year for families, the food, the lights, and all the events. Just enjoy it. And we live in a great place to enjoy Christmas right here in the Magic Valley. Until next Monday, we'll saddle the horse at 8:06 and ride for 3 hours right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and then streaming live on zebbell.com all across the universe. We wish you a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next Monday. The way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless. See you Monday.